mainly to protect our food chain, right? We don't want anybody tampering with any product that's stored down here. And our clients are concerned about food safety, and they want to make sure that they've got product integrity.
Some people think they know exactly what is happening to the food, why the food is not here, why we are facing so many shortages and empty shelves. Where are they taking the food? Some people think they know where, and they think that they are inside of caves. I'm going to show you video of that, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to show you fallout bunkers, how they are planning to save themselves. What are you doing to save yourself?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. How are you guys doing today? So this is not say news of the weird, and yes, I'm doing this over here on this channel. I really am. So when I first did this story, it was just about, not say abandoned bunkers, because if a bunker is abandoned, that means nobody's there protecting it. We have bunkers that are still being guarded, and I'm going to show you clips of that in this video. I'm also going to show you of this story that's not new. It's an old story, and it's about the caves, the Craft Caves in Springfield, Missouri. My cousin, short story, maybe long, I don't know. My cousin, a few years back, told me about this because he went in them. He was driving trucks at the time. He sent me pictures and video of the inside of this cave. But at the time, he didn't tell me it was, Kraft Foods and other companies as well store their product. I'm revamping it to show you new things that I found. You can relate it it's two different stories, but you can relate them together. So what I found is that we might be in a need for bunkers. Trying to find out the nearest bunker for fallout shelters due to the whole Russia-Ukraine war, and due to Russia potentially, wanting to put their finger on a button for us in the U.S. So one of you guys emailed me because you had seen another channel, Riverside Homestead Life, do a story about it. And they wanted me to do a story about it too. This is not something that I was intending to do. But since they asked, I said, okay, I'll just join them together, because it's a lot of conspiracy theory going around that, this is where your food is going. If you're looking for food, food is short, and you're trying to figure out where are these supplies going. And then you see this video where trucks and trains going into these caves in Missouri. And Missouri is not the only place that they have these caves, okay? And this place is over 1 million cubic square feet. Let me tell you, it runs deep. Then there was this thing where past March, when Biden said that food shortages would get real, I covered that, did story fake news, but he said it. Our food has been disseminating, okay? Rapidly, I remember doing a story on 35,000 eggs being destroyed on a highway when a truck, for some reason, overturned in Texas. And this was before, not before the pandemic, but this was before the whole bird flu, culling of 58 million birds, rather. Because even in the clip, the guy's saying, well, I know it's conspiracy out there why the food is being taken into these caves, but we're actually just the holding spot for them to take it somewhere else.
Going down. I don't know where to go. Fucking don't know where to go.
Underground security?
Yeah, it's Stevens for building 10, door 27.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This place is way, way longer than a football field. Let me tell you, I don't know how many football fields it would take to even fill this millions of square footage right here. But in the next video, they're going to explain to you what everything is and what it is and why they're doing what they do.
We have about 600 acres that has been mined over 70 years to remove the limestone product to use as construction aggregates in the Springfield market. The space that was remaining after mining, we've turned into an industrial complex. We have 3.5 million square feet of underground space, and that's inside the wall's leasable space. We've grown about 680,000 square feet in the last 5 years, and that's added about 95 jobs. We run 500 to 600 tractor trailers through the underground on a given day, and the majority of that traffic goes up and down LeCompte Road, which we're working in partnership with the city to widen LeCompte Road because of the traffic and the growth in the last couple of years. So it was started as an open pit quarry in 1946. They went underground in the 1950s and built the first underground warehouse space in the 1960s. So we've been storing mainly food product for the last 60 some years. There's an enormous energy savings being underground if you're going to refrigerate space, because you're not dealing with the temperature fluctuations of the outside environment. So we bring rail traffic in. I mentioned trucks, but we also have BNSF rail coming in here. So this is a rail that would have been brought in, switched in last night. Those are actually barrels of blocks of cheese.
And would you happen to know how much cheese?
I don't off the top of my head.
I imagine it's a lot, though.
It's a lot, yes.
So yeah, I know you can't. I don't know if you're comfortable with naming sort of some of the companies that work with you guys.
Well, I would put it this way: if you have cheese on any product, fast food, or at your home, then you've probably had product that came through here. About 75% of that 3.5 million square feet is food product storage, and probably 60% of our space is refrigerated. I'll take you up in a little bit to go look at one of our machine rooms that refrigerates the space down below. That's the front office for a warehouse, and then around the corner are where their trucks bring the products in and out.
So you mentioned 3.5 million square feet. I mean, how long of a drive is it from one end to another?
We have over 3.5 miles of roadway completely. So from the front to the back is probably little over a mile.
And so, obviously, with that amount of space, surely you guys haven't utilized every single piece of land here, have you?
No, we haven't. We've still got space to grow and build, and that's why we need LeCompte Road addressed and widened, is because as we're adding space down here, we're increasing the truck traffic.
So, are you guys pretty much open 24/7?
We are open 24/7. So there are trucks moving. If you think about when you're on the highway, all times of the day and night, trucks are moving, and so we are part of the food chain distribution network that gets products to and from the grocery stores. So those trucks and plants are running and moving all the time. This building's actually a dry building, and it's full of, I think you can probably see the logo on that truck as to guess whose product is in here. So, or the side of that truck.
What's a 10-year plan for the Springfield Underground?
So our long-term plan is to finish developing the underground, which is about another 1.5 million square feet, and then we want to continue developing the surface. Right now we don't have any industrial buildings on the surface. We have a master plan to do that. We need to get LeCompte Road widened in order to complete that plan. So that's number one on the agenda right now. 10 years, this will be a fully functioning surface and underground real estate development. And we've started another underground on the west side of Springfield. So in 10 years, I would hope that we would be able to have enough space mined out over there to build a building. Our expansion will be behind these curtains. If you see those, that will be the next area that we build out.
Not really open to the public. You guys have a bunch of gates and barriers and what have you. Is this correct?
It is. We have restricted access.
Listen closely.
Mainly to protect our food chain, right? We don't want anybody tampering with any product that's stored down here. And our clients are concerned about food safety, and they want to make sure that they've got product integrity. Also, the amount of truck traffic that we have down here, it's just not safe for people to be down here wandering around. We do open it once in a while. We generally partner with a local organization to raise money. Recently, we had the round around the underground bike race to benefit Trail Springs and some of the trail network in the area.
The public might kind of view you guys as a bit of a mysterious company. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think the fact that we're out of sight, it's always interesting to me when somebody thinks they are the first one to discover us, even though we've been here for 50 or 60 years. But I think just the fact that you don't see anything, it drives some narratives that are a little more interesting than what really goes on down here. I wish we were as interesting as what some of the conspiracy theories talk about. One of them is the amount of food that we have stored and what is it stored for. Well, really, the food is not stored here. We are a part of the distribution network. So food that's manufactured in one of our local partners' operations comes here a lot of times on a quality hold. Product will have to sit for a few days to make sure that it's safe to distribute to the general public, and then it'll leave here and get shipped to the distribution centers. So we're a waypoint. We're a surge capacity in the food chain. It's all the rail cars right there. I think you got those. It's fairly common in the Midwest. In Kansas City, there's quite a lot of underground space. It's very common in that area. The largest underground is in Kansas City. There's an underground development in Carthage, Missouri. There's an underground development in Neosho. There's one at the Jefferson Barracks Bridge, Bussin' Underground in St. Louis. So it's not as uncommon as you might think. It has a lot to do with the geology of the area and the mining, how the mining took place. So you don't have a lot of it on the coasts. But in the Midwest, where there's mainly limestone, there's quite a bit of it. How deep we are, so it shows the thickness of the rock ceiling above us, and then the concrete wall above us is holding back the dirt around us. This facility is full of personal protective equipment. It's a good place to store in the event of in this area, a tornado would be the biggest concern. So it's safe down here from natural disasters. So up this ramp is Kearney Street. So this area is an open pit quarry that was started in 1946. And then you can see the the solid rock walls around the perimeter. Some of them have been sprayed with concrete, but then you can see where they started tunneling back into the underground in the 1950s and then started building buildings in the 1960s. So, and on the right, there's a metal building above that space. So that's the refrigeration building. If you were to look in your home refrigerator, there's somewhere in there is a compressor and a cooling unit. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a similar technology as to what's on your home refrigerator. It's just much, much larger because we're refrigerating millions of cubic feet as opposed to hundreds. It's to cool the space where the eggs are distributed from. So we keep all the refrigerant up on the surface, so the only thing going down there is a cold salt liquid to cool the space to take the heat out of the space. Compressing ammonia gas to change the boiling point. We take it to the cooling tower and release the heat to the atmosphere. pulling it out from down below and transferring it here. We have technicians, engineers, IT people that install and maintain this equipment, and then also it's monitored remotely 24/7 via quite a few sensors and monitors.
So now we know where the food is. At least we think we know where the food is. They say it's not. You let me know in the comments what you think. Now, if there's a fallout with this whole Russia situation, if they want to hit that button, or if North Korea want to hit that button and get at us, what you gonna do? Well, I can tell you what the GOV gonna do. They gonna protect their ASS. Remember what I said in the beginning. If there are abandoned fallout shelters, they're not gonna be protecting those. So obviously, they plan to use these in the future, especially with everything that's going on. Now, this was a couple years back, and then I did the story twice. Here it is again. Pay attention. It's all about the GOV, not the YOU.
You are entering one of the most secret places on Earth. It's a bunker built into a hollowed-out mountain in Colorado. It's just one of the top secret shelters where 7,000 Americans will go to in the event of nuclear annihilation.
The government built more than 100 of these bunkers and relocation facilities around the country.
There's no room for families.
Wives, children not included.
The plans to get a small number of government officials out of Washington, out of major cities, and into these bunkers around the country. And it doesn't include families.
Garrett Graff is the author of the new book, Raven Rock, the U.S. government's secret plan to save itself while the rest of us die. The title comes from this place, Raven Rock Mountain, a super secret bunker in Pennsylvania where Pentagon brass will relocate in a nuclear war.
How do you get on this list? And who's on it?
Well, so the list includes your high-ranking government officials, your cabinet leaders, your congressional leadership, members of the Supreme Court, as well as, top aides, White House staff.
Some people are on the elite list by accident. The bunker at Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado has its own Subway sandwich shop.
If you just happen at the time of the apocalypse to be the person manning the cash register at the Subway, you're going to be the only fast food employee in America who survives the nuclear war.
Another bunker is buried in Virginia at a place called Mount Weather.
This is the Mount Weather facility about 60 miles west of Washington, D.C. And it looks like a typical secure government facility. It is surrounded by a chain link fence with a barbed wire at the top.
And they don't like visitors.
Okay. I need your removal.
For decades, another secret bunker was located beneath Greenbrier, a luxury resort in West Virginia. It's now a museum. Behind this 25-ton blast door was a shelter for 400 government officials.
So don't believe the hype. If something happens, if that threat happens, it becomes real. That place that is a museum right now will no longer be a museum. It's going to be full of them old relics up there in D.C.
who could live for 60 days in dorms like this one. The bunker system has been used only once, on 9/11.
On 9/11, helicopters swooped in here to the Capitol and evacuated the congressional leadership as well as officials from across Washington out into these mountain bunkers around the country.
Let's hope they're never needed again.
Now here's some pictures of some abandoned fallout shelters in New York, D.C., Virginia. Some are under school buildings. I mean, you name it. Some even have things still inside of them like water, and those are toilets that they makeshift out of containers. And this is the one that's underneath the school. Y'all take care, subscribe, like, and share.
I'm back in my bag, y'all.